So here's a question. Is this left-wing tax and spend Biden budget really a very clever strategy to be reelected in 2024? Maybe there's stuff we don't understand. In fact, I know there's stuff I don't understand. We have Katie Pavlich, townhall.com editor, Fox News contributor, and Guy Benson, townhall.com political editor, Fox News contributor, and host of The Guy Benson Show on Fox News Radio. Katie, you think this is a very clever strategy? Maybe the whole country has gone left and wants socialism and doesn't mind $5 trillion in taxes.
Well, look, this is clearly a political document. Republicans aren't going to play ball on this. I think a lot of Democrats on Capitol Hill aren't going to vote for something like this. But it's a way for Joe Biden to prove again to the left, which is the loudest part of his base, that he is a very far left progressive. Now, the problem for him in terms of re-election is the first time around, during the 2020 cycle, he sold himself as a moderate. He said that I'm not this far left executive who's going to spend this much money anyway. And that's how he was able to kind of coalesce the Democratic Party together. Now, the party has moved very far to the left, and he's likely going to be the nominee, despite the talk about him being challenged. And so he really has nothing to lose when it comes to the politics of this with his base.
Can the Republicans, though, hammer home what a bad idea this is, that it could be inflationary, that it will decimate the economy, that you're taxing producers, you're taxing workers, you're taxing investors, that sort of thing? They haven't been fabulous at that, at least in the last midterms.
And taxing job creators.
Job creators.
You know, like,
yes.
Worst of all, the economy's been through so much these last 3 years. I think Americans who might like the idea of some class warfare and taxing other people, ultimately they understand if you're going to raise taxes by $5 trillion, hammering people who create jobs, that is going to have a negative, deleterious effect on the economy broadly. And people love the idea of taxing corporations until you mention that taxing corporations and small businesses, by the way, higher, will end up creating fewer jobs and rising costs. And we've just been through and are still going through inflation. So there are lots of different ways to come after this from a conservative perspective. One thing I was thinking about, Larry, earlier, just to take a step back, 2007, I looked up the numbers. 2007 was my senior year of college. Long time ago, but not that long ago. The government spent collectively, federal government, $2.7 trillion that year. The last year before COVID, 2019, we spent $4.4 trillion that year. That's not ancient history. That's 2019. Biden's calling for almost $7 trillion of spending next year. This trajectory is actually scary. Yeah. And Republicans, I think, have a real opportunity to hammer on this.
Well, and Larry, the federal government in 2022 took in more tax revenue than it ever has in the history of the country. And yet it's never enough. And the spending and the inflation is driving the number one thing that people say is affecting their bottom line, which is another political problem that Joe Biden has. Are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? But the fact that this budget would balloon the debt to $50 trillion in just 10 years, 30 years, that's a huge problem for him economically, but for the country. And also on China, it makes our corporate tax rate higher than China, and he wants to compete. Then it's very difficult for the country to compete when he's saying we just want a friendly competition. Well,
you are correct.
He's
By
not
the way,
making that easy.
The capital gains tax will be much higher than China's also. It's a very interesting point. But the thing that troubles me, I don't know, maybe I'm just still after the midterm election, the GOP's got to make the case, and they've got to link the case to working folks, to typical middle-class families. It's a cost of living problem. It's a living standards. It's a real wage problem. And they have to show that they have a better way. I guess that's where I want to come out. They have a better way. Now, I think McCarthy, I'm pointing to you, he was sitting in your spot. I think what they're doing on energy is very good, and I think there's a lot of good stuff. But can the GOP really show the conflict, the difference between socialism and capitalism, to be blunt?
I think in the aftermath of COVID and the way the government stepped in and forced everyone to stay home and then sent everyone a check, that the idea of what the government's role is in this country has changed, which is why Republicans have had a difficult time in the midterms driving home that message, because they saw it work short term. But long term, as we're seeing, inflation is still stubborn. Things are too expensive. But at the same time, it's hard to get people to go back to work. I mean, there's millions of unfilled jobs in this country. So I think Republicans, they have a way to do this. You saw the energy bill that Kevin McCarthy introduced on your show. There are ways that they're trying to bring costs down for Americans. But when it comes to the big picture, I think the class warfare does work a lot for Democrats when it comes to saying that corporations and the rich are going to pay. But ultimately, there's not enough money, and the middle class always ends up paying for these things.
Guy, this was kind of an in-your-face budget. It was not Bill Clinton, the end of big government. It was not compromising. This is like
not even close.
Probably right. Probably where there was no reset. I got 30 seconds left. Is this going to affect the debt negotiations?
Maybe not the debt negotiations, but it sets the table for 2024, right? This budget, thank God, is dead on arrival. It's going nowhere because Republicans control this chamber. But if the Democrats win again in 2024, that could very much change.
All right. Guy Benson, Katie Pavlich, thank you
Good to see you,
ever so
Larry.
much, both.